Hey guys, and welcome back. Today's video, since it is the beginning of February, I kind of just wanted to do my take on a Valentine's Day look. I kind of just wanted to give you my take on what I would wear out for a Valentine's Day date. So if you would like to see my look and how I achieve this look, just keep on watching. Alright, so I'm going to go in with foundation. I'm going to skip primer, but if you wanted your look to last a little longer and you are into primer, I would suggest wearing the one of your choice. Alright, so going in with foundation, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation in the shade 102 Fair Porcelain. This is one of my favorite drugstore foundations. If you watched my other videos, I use this a lot in those as well. And I'm going to mix it up with the brush a little bit. I find I use the same stuff way too often, and it's good just to kind of mix it up as I go. So today I'm going to be using my Sigma Curved Kabuki F83 brush. And I use this before on my channel, but not very often. So this is just kind of like curved up here, just because it kind of, you know, like presses the foundation into all of the little nook and crannies. And I'm just gonna start applying it all over my face. So I'm actually not sure if me and Joseph are gonna go out for Valentine's Day this year. The reason kind of is for one, we're both working on that day, but that's not really the reason. I find, at least where I'm from, because it is such a small community, I shouldn't say all, but majority of the restaurants, they like limit their menus and they only do like a couple, like they'll have like a special Valentine's Day menu and you'll only be able to pick from like maybe like 4 or 5 things. I don't like going to a restaurant and having like 5 things to pick from a menu. So I think this year we're just gonna lay low and maybe we will buy some stuff and cook our own nice cozy supper in our little apartment. Okay, so I'm just going in with the same foundation and a little bit on my Real Technique sponge and just pressing a little bit more kind of in like the center of my face just to kind of give it a little tiny bit more coverage there. So next I'm going to go in with concealer. I actually really like this, so I can't believe I haven't had it in this long. Like literally I just tried it like last week for the first time. I know I'm crazy, I don't know why I waited so long, but I am now a proud owner of this little gem, so now I'm going to be getting some use out of it. So I got this in the shade 8B Porcelain Beige, and I'm pretty sure it's their lightest shade. So I'm just going to take some of this and apply some just everywhere where I think that can use a little bit of coverage and a little bit of brightening up. I kind of like to pull it down like on the side of my nose as well, just to kind of like brighten up this whole center area on my face. So I'm going to be using the same Real Technique sponge and just pushing this in to my skin. I'm going to be going in with my usual, the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 05 Fair. So I'm just going to be putting some on a random, kind of like a more hardened beauty sponge, and I'm just going to be applying that wherever I normally bake. And the good thing that I like about baking is that there's no such thing as like too much. You can literally pack it on there so much, and when it wipes off, it just kind of makes your skin look even better. So that's why I don't really care if I use a loose hand or not when I do this. While that's kind of doing its thing, I'm going to go in and do some brows. So I'm going to be using my usual Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Taupe. So I'm getting kind of low. I haven't reached the bottom of the pot yet, but it's going to be happening pretty soon. So I'm just going to be filling in my brows as usual. So I remember when I used to be so afraid of filling in my brows. I remember at my work, some of the other girls would be like, oh, I'm so surprised you don't fill in your brows. Once you start, like, you'll never go back. I just wasn't really into, like, super hardcore into makeup then, so I really wasn't, like, kind of like try new things or new techniques. I was just like, no, you know what, like my brows are fine, I don't need to fill them in at all. So I literally would just do like a whole makeup look and not fill in my brows. That was kind of before I had Instagram, so my Instagram is like super new. I had it for a year this past summer, so this summer coming up, I think August I started. It's only gonna be like 2 years old since I've had Instagram. So, and you know, I really started to see the other Instagram trends of, you know, like eyebrows being filled in and all that kind of stuff, that I really kind of took an interest and decided to go buy brow products. I can remember my very first brow product. It was actually by Milani, and it was their little brow kit, like their shadow brow. And they were right. Once you start filling in your brows, you will never ever go back. I think that's good enough for brows. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe that bake off, and I'm going to be using the Real Techniques contour brush. I just like it because it's like a nice tapered end. And I'm literally just going to go in and wipe everything off. I'm going to go in with some bronzer. And the bronzer that I chose to use today is by NYC, and it is their color wheel. This one is called All Over Bronze Glow. And this is so inexpensive from like Walmart or the drugstore. And this is how it looks here with the Morphe R4 brush. It's like a contour slanted brush, so I'm just gonna pop in with this and just put a little bit where I normally put some bronzer. Okay, so now some blush, and the blush that I chose to use is Dame by MAC. So this is the color here. I've already used this on my channel a couple of times, and I really love this blush. It's one of my all-time favorites. So I will be using this one with the Sigma Powder Blush Brush F10. So I'm just going to be applying some of this lightly on my cheeks. Alright, so now that blush is done, I'm going to be going in with some eyes. Just think that some of the palettes, like some of the older palettes, don't kind of get enough spotlight. Like, I find everything new is coming out so fast that a lot of the older stuff is never really making their rounds or comebacks, and I get it. Like, I know new stuff is coming out all the time, but I just feel like giving some appreciation to some of the older releases and some of the older collections. For this eye look, I'm going to be using the Naked 3 palette. So this comes with all of the colors that you would really possibly need to do like a nice light pink girly, subtle, whatever you would want look. So it just kind of gives an array of beautiful colors. I'm a huge fan of the Naked 3 palette. I still use it all the time today. So this is the one that I'm going to be using to do my Valentine's Day look with. So the very first shade that I'm going to be jumping into is called Limit. So it's this one right here. It's just kind of like this nice light pink color. So I'm going to be going in with my Morphe E23 brush, and I'm just going to be tapping into that and firstly applying this into my crease. And I think I'm going to be going in with the shade Buzz. So it's this pinky one right here. It's one of the pinkest ones that are in this whole palette. So I'm just going to be going in with this one with my Sigma Taper Blending E40 brush. And I'm just going to be kind of just focusing it again in my crease area just to kind of add some more color there. I'm going to go in with the shade, I think it's called Burnout. It's kind of wearing off now, but it's this one right here. It's another pinky shade, just the third shade in. And with the same brush, I'm just going to pick some up and just kind of, again, put this in the crease just to kind of give it a little more of that pinky color. I am going to be going in with a slightly darker shade. This one is called Nooner. So it's this one right here. And I'm going to be going in with the Sigma Small Tapered Blending E45 brush. So I'm just going to dip into that, and I'm just going to focus it just a little bit on the outer corners. So I decided to just bring it up just a little bit, just kind of in the crease zone, just to kind of give it a little bit of a dimension. Okay, so before I go any further, I am going to be going in with this really white shade. I shouldn't say white, it's like kind of like an off-white. This one is called Strange, so it's the very, very first one here. So I'm just going to tap into a little bit of that with my fingers, and I'm just going to kind of lighten this up on my eye just a little bit. And I'm just going to take that big fluffy brush and just kind of blend the edges of that. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking some of this shade Factory. So it's this one right over here. We're getting a little bit darker now, and for this I'm going to be using the Sigma Blending E36 brush. It's just kind of like a really small, kind of like a skinnier tapered brush. So I'm just going to pop into that and just focus a little bit more on the outer corners and a little bit up into that crease. So I think I'm going to add some to the bottom lash line now. So I think I'm actually going to start to go in with the shade Nooner right there. I'm just going to be taking that Sigma tapered blending brush again, tapping into that, and just adding a little bit of color onto my lower lash. I think I'm going to go in with Buzz, that pinky shade again right here, with the same brush, and just adding some of that pink down below. So I think for the middle shade of my eye, I am going to be going in with this second shade called Dust, I believe. It's kind of rubbed off, but I believe it's called Dust. And I'm actually going to press into it with a Sigma Blending E25 brush. And once I do that, I am going to spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus. So this will just help pack on that shimmery color just a little bit. So I'm just going to press this in. Just like that. I'm going to get a little bit more. Next, I'm going to be going into that shade Factory again, the fourth one from the end, and I'm just going to be applying that into the crease a little more. Okay, so now comes the tricky part, because I don't want it to be like super dark and dramatic, but I do want to add some of this very end shade here called Dark Heart. I want to utilize this for maybe like an eyeliner and just like a tad of darkness to the outer corner. So I'm just going to tap into this, and this is the Sigma Blending E36 brush, and I am literally just going to tap this into the very, very outer corners, just ever so lightly, just in like a nice V motion, because I don't want it to be like packed in there too dark. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some on this eye. So next I'm going to be using that same shade Dark Heart, and I'm going to be going in with the Sigma Small Angle E65 brush, and I'm just going to be using that shade just to kind of put like a nice soft liner. And I really thought about it, and I was thinking, you know, do I kind of want to try like a liquid winged liner or something like that, and I was just like, no, I thought I would just keep it kind of soft, because it is Valentine's Day and I'm not that comfortable with liquid liner just yet. But I really do think that this suits the look a little more. It just is much more softer, much more wearable if you don't want like that super bold look and you just want this nice blended, soft, no harsh edges kind of look. And actually I'm going to be going in with the Morphe M574 brush, and I'm just going to be tapping a tiny bit into that Dark Heart just to kind of smudge a little tiny bit of that darkness down into my bottom lash. So I think I'm going to go in with that same shade Dust, so that shimmery shade right here, and I'm going to be going in with the Real Techniques Detailer brush and just kind of seeing how that applies just to the inner corner, just to kind of brighten it up a little bit, and a little bit under my brow bone. I'm going to be adding a little bit of mascara because I think I am going to attempt to put some lashes on, just because it is Valentine's Day. So I will be going in with my usual Maybelline Colossal Big Shot mascara, and this is in the shade Black. So I'm just going to be putting a little bit of a coat on there. I'm not going to go too heavy just because I know I will be applying lashes. So the lashes that I chose to apply is going to be the ones that I used before, and they worked out well. And these are the Ardell Faux Mink Wispies. So this is how they look here, and I think why I like them is because they're considered demi wispies. So I just find they fit my eye shape a little bit better, and they were actually pretty easy to apply. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to pop these on, and I'm not sure how long that's going to take me, but I will be back in just a minute. Alright guys, so by some miracle, I got these lashes on, but moving on, I think I'm going to move on to highlighter, and then I'm going to do some lips last. For the highlighter, I think I'm going to be using the Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter in Molten Rose Gold. So this is how that looks like there. I will be using the regular brush, the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter F03, and I'm just going to kind of dust into that and just apply it everywhere that I apply some highlighter. I usually put some there, some down my nose, and I like to put some above my eyebrows just to kind of balance out some of like the reflex on my face. I think I'm going to go on top of it with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in Blossom Glow, just to give it a little bit of a more iridescent sheen. And now the fun part, lips. The first one that I absolutely love, that I've got multiples already, I used every single bit of it, I'm on like my 4th tube, is this MAC lipstick in the satin finish called Snob. So this is what it looks like there. It's kind of like a really cool tone, baby pink, but it really packs a punch of color. So I'm just gonna go apply some of this, so you can kind of see like the super bright Barbie-ish light pink shade that it is. I think I'm actually going to go and deepen it up just a little bit with some, what is this, some Maybelline lipstick. This one's in the shade Nocturnal Rose 700, so it looks just like this. So I think to top it off, I'm going to be adding like a little bit of like a glossy finish. And this one is actually the L'Oreal Color Rich Shine in this shade Sparkling Rose. So this is how the packaging looks like here. And it just opens up and it twists, and this stuff is so hydrating. I carry it with me everywhere. And I think I'm going to finish this look off with some setting spray. And I'm actually going to be using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist because I really like how fine the mist gets distributed all over my face. So I'm just going to spray some of this. So this is the finished, completed Valentine's Day inspired look. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you liked the products that I have used. If you guys liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you would like to see more by me, just hit that subscribe button. Every subscribe means the absolute world to me, so if you could just do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, I will be forever grateful for you guys. So I will be seeing you guys in my next video. Bye!